Okay, it's windy outside. I hope I really don't have to redo this doggone video. Oh crap, this car is coming. Sorry, car. I should not be here, but wasn't expecting you to, you know, go down this path, go down this road, because cars usually don't. But anyway, uh, I'm not gonna like ramble on. I just like, I'm in this really bad place in my life. Really bad place. Not just like in terms of like finance, but in terms of just like, just in terms of like 2024 was the worst year of my adult life. I've had tough times, I've had terrible jobs, I've had like awful situations that happened with my family, but 2024 actually took the cake. It is the first year. I'm sorry for the noise, but I'm in an area, and I'll talk more about that, where there's a lot of trucks and stuff like that, a lot of like factory type of things. I try to speak up and everything, but anyway, like it has been the most trying year of my freaking life, the most trying freaking year of my life, and I'm just like, I'm like, the thing about it is, like, God told me to come to this specific city. He did, because I wanted to make sure it was God and it wasn't just like me, And so I was like, I'm gonna leave it alone, because if you don't say nothing about it, then it's not gonna happen. It just is what it is. That's it. And in my prayer time in my old apartment, I was in my prayer closet and whatnot, and he put it on my heart to move to this city. So I acted on faith, and I did it. And girl, the women on YouTube be talking about God moved me to this city, and he, like blessed me with this, and he blessed me with that and everything else, and that's wonderful. That is amazing. But I'm here to tell you that ain't everybody's story. Sometimes it gets real ghetto. Sometimes it gets really trying. Sometimes it's like your mental health is affected by like what the Lord tells you to do. And it's just like, okay, all right, so I must be like that redheaded stepchild in the kingdom. I must be that like kid that, I must be Kevin McAllister from Home Alone 1 and 2. I must be that little blonde haired white boy. That must be me. Because I feel like I ain't getting no love at this point. Like, I'm just getting the basic package, which is, it's a blessing to get, but it's also kind of like, okay, if I can get the basic package, be in a semi-decent like apartment, then that's one thing. I'm getting the basic package, y'all. I kid you not. I am in a freaking homeless shelter. I'm in a freaking homeless shelter. This is what happened. My job laid us off to, like bring operations overseas. It is what it is. I ain't gonna tell the job because, we signed some type of paperwork or whatever. Probably shouldn't say that, but whatever. They laid us off. They gave us a cute little severance package. I've been living on the severance package. I've been looking for jobs since I came to Dallas, right? I moved to Dallas. I was in Dallas on December 31st because God said, be there. I want you to be in Dallas by 2024. So I was like, okay. Got hopped on the bus because the plane would have been too much. I could have afforded it, but like I had like 3 bags and stuff like that. I was like, I'm gonna rough it on the bus. It's cheaper. It was like $100 and some. Got on the freaking bus, came on down here, stayed at Airbnbs for some months, looking for a job, found a temporary one, found a temporary one. Sorry, I got distracted. There's a dead animal somewhere on this street, and I'm trying to avoid it because it made my stomach rumble a little bit. So let me avoid. Again, sorry if it's noisy, but y'all may not hear it, like, cause that's what happened when YouTubers I'll be watching, like, just say, I'm sorry if it's noisy, guys, we can hear it, but sometimes y'all can't. So, but anyway, so like, came here, found a little temporary seasonal job. Okay, cool. You know, that ended in May. That only lasted like 2 months. And it ended in May and everything. And then after that, nothing. Like, I had to, like, my severance ran out. Had to dip into some accounts that I really wish I hadn't had to. And then I had to go on unemployment, which it wasn't that much. So I went from an Airbnb to another, like, Airbnb, a cheaper Airbnb type of site, right? And I declare, I say this with all my heart, mind, and spirit, I did every freaking thing, y'all. Every freaking thing to stay in that little cheaper version of the Airbnb, to stay in that room. Everything. I tried to get plasma. Let me tell you what happened with the plasma situation. I tried to get plasma. The first time I tried to get plasma, went through the, like, little tests they give you, did the paperwork and everything. And you know what happened? Like, the machine clogged up. Okay, it was their error, so they still gave me a little $80. I was like, okay, $80 make me holler. Let me, use this money to, like, pay a bill or do something. Like, yay, I'll have some source of income until I can get a job. It's temporary, but I can make it work, So I'm giving my little plasma. So I try to get plasma again. I come up in there, and they're like, oh, your temperature is too high. I'm like, what? What do you mean my temperature is too high? It was, like, high by, like, 2 points. And I'm just like, okay, you can't give today. And you can't come back, like, tomorrow or anything else. You have to come back in, like, 3 days or something like that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. And so, like, I'm like, okay, third time's the charm, right? And so I, like, I go again to get plasma, and
I thought they had a sugar in your hand.
oh no, my phone does not look like a shiv, and this man just said that. Like, bruh, I'm a shiv for real. Anyway, I don't know, maybe they look different in prison. I ain't never been. I have no idea, But, like, so, like, I go to get plasma a third time. Blood pressure too high. The crazy part about it is the first time it registered too high, which was only a couple points. They, like, they were like, okay, wait, 5 funky minutes, and then, like, we're going to test you again. Just, like, calm down and chill out, relax and stuff. I was calm. But then I got nervous. And so I prayed, y'all. I was like, Lord, please, I need this money to stay in this place. I need to get plasma in order to have some income right now because the jobs ain't jobbing. They are not working. It's just, I need this. How about I went calmed, woosah'd and stuff like that. I don't think it's, like, anti-Christian to, like, woosah, but, like, I was just, like, breathing exercising and everything. I got up there and it was like 140. So it went from it has to be, like, I think 120 over 80. It was 125, and then it went up 15 points. Like, really? I'm like, I prayed to you. And so I'm, like, mad and I'm upset with God. Like, I've had, like, 2024 have been some of the most angry prayers I've ever prayed in my life. Angry. And, I'm not proud to say it, cussing and everything else. And honestly, just, like, a whole bunch of just, like, resentment and just, like, what the heck is going on? I wasn't expecting to come here to this city and become a millionaire, but I wasn't expecting to come here to this city and struggle this hard. And speaking of struggle, it wasn't purely financial. Financial was, like, later on in the year because that severance was real cute for a while. The struggle was mostly mental, emotional, and spiritual most of the year. I have never been a person who has ever considered ending it all, right, in my life. I've just never been that person. I've been through some things, childhood abuse and everything, just like, so like some abusive like relationships in my adult years, family, sort of like estrangement, that type of thing. Been through some things, worse than some, not as bad as some as others, but like, I've never considered this was the year. So many times I thought about ending it all. So many times I thought about, like, I'm tired, I'm really exhausted, and just like had this just like anger and hatred towards God because of the things that went through in my past and the things that I was going through in my present. I was like, I've had so many ups and downs and just like mountains. Well, not mountains, like a molehill and valleys. Like, the whole entire 2024 has not been like a cute year for Jasmine. And, like I hear people talking about refining and the Lord is positioning you and get ready, and some people talking about blessings and stuff. And that's cool. That's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with a financial blessing. But some people talking about financial blessings, but like the blessing of peace, the blessing of stability of emotions, I think hits me harder now. It's just like it's let me go on with my story and then I'll just like delve a little bit deeper into that. So I'm struggling. I have to sell. I'm privileged in this way. I know that, like, I had like 2 computers. One computer my job gave me when they laid us off. They were like, oh, we don't need them, so you want to take them? Okay. So they gave me that computer, and I had my own personal computer, and I had to sell both of them for less than they were worth in order to just like, make ends meet at this cheaper Airbnb spot, right? I was stressed the heck out. Like, I was at the point, like some people like pull out their hair, and there's nothing funny about that. When they're stressed, I get it, because I'm just at the point where it's just like, it was too much. And I had no money. I'd sold all the most expensive things that I had. The last expensive thing I had was my cell phone, and I was like, no, I'm not selling it. It still looked abused. My the apps that I use the most, like on my computer, on my phone. And so like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And at that time I didn't even have another phone. Now I got one of them like cheap government phones that, hey, at least it rings, it's not turned off. And so I have to get out. I try, and I'm just like so mad, like such rage-filled prayers and stuff like that. I'm so angry. And then I get to the point where it's like, you know what? I just need help, and I need to know what to do, because I'm thinking about like going to a shelter. I was looking up all of these different shelters and stuff like that, because I was like, at this point I'm gonna have to, or I'm gonna be on the streets with my stuff. And at least with a shelter I can like keep some of my stuff and just like not be on the streets. So like I prayed, and it was a different type of prayer. More humble, more I don't know what I'm doing, more like just I just need to figure this out. I just need to know what to do and where to go. And God directed me into a shelter, and directed me on, the stuff I should take and the stuff I didn't take. Some of the stuff didn't make sense to me or whatever. But like, so I don't know, like it's just been also a confusing year in terms of like hearing what the Lord wants me to do and what is the right way to move, like, and just like being yo-yo of emotions type of thing. And I'm like, when I'm gonna say that towards the end, discussing just like my feelings right now and where I am. But like, so I would end up going to the shelter. I take my stuff with me, my suitcase with me. Like 80% of the stuff, well, maybe not 80%, but 60% for sure, or if not 70% of my stuff, I had to discard. I don't know what they did with it. I don't know if they sold it. I don't know if they made some type of profit off of it. I don't know what happened. But I know that I had to discard about 70% of my stuff, including DVDs. Including my DVD collection that I've been like cultivating for years. Like a lot of DVDs, a lot of CDs and stuff like that, a lot of good music I had to get rid of because he told me, the guy who was getting me prepared to go into the shelter, was like, oh, we can't verify that these are clean because of our clothes. They had to take it through some type of process, some heating process, to make sure they didn't have bed bugs or whatever. And they couldn't do it with a CD case. And I'm like, there's CDs, freaking CDs. But like, I was like desperate. I didn't have any place to go. So what was I gonna do? You know, had to do what I had to do. And so I got rid of my whole like CD collection, some other stuff. I hope it went to a good home. I hope people enjoy the movies, enjoy the CDs, a lot of good music. But it's just like, it was a lot. It's a lot going into a shelter. I think anybody who is going into that experience can say that it's a freaking lot. It is a lot. It's emotionally draining. It's mentally draining. It's spiritually draining. It's just too, it wears on the soul to be in that position. Because, and I know a lot of people won't have sympathy for this because they can't say beggars can be choosers and everything else, whatever. But it's like, you're basically told what to do. Everything. You're used to like, I shower when I want to, which I do on a daily basis. I eat when I want to. I go to sleep when I want to. Like, these things aren't dictated to me. You know? And nobody is telling me you have to like, you gotta shower at a specific time. You gotta do this. No, nobody's telling you that unless you're a kid. Or, you know, like maybe you're an adult who needs that type of supervision. But for the most part, nobody is doing that. And so to go from having that type of independence to like having somebody else, no, that's not right. Other people, let me change that. Like tell you what to do and when to do it. It's a humbling experience, and it's also very, it's a heartbreaking experience too. Because this particular shelter was very, 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 very controlling. Very, and it's beyond like, we give y'all times to like shower and we give y'all times to eat. We, like the basic stuff that I was talking about before. It was just like, we monitor everything that you do. We make sure that like you only have a couple places that you can go within the shelter. I ain't talking about administrative offices, but just like, you know, the chapel and just like the intake area and everything else. And if it also comes with a program, either you can pay to stay there, which that is controlled too, because you got to get your job to sign off on the fact that you actually have a job and that you're going to that job. I guess like my thing is, if you're at the shelter and you're paying to stay there, why should your job, you have to confirm that you have a job? You could have a sugar daddy, or you could have like a cousin who's generous, who is just like giving you the money to stay there. Why do you have to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to like let you Why does the paperwork have to be signed by my boss telling my business, basically, that I'm in a shelter? And you know people discriminate against people in the shelters because you have all these assumptions. Well, you were lazy. Well, you know what I'm saying, you didn't get a job. Well, you didn't have, you know, you were on drugs. You were on this and you were on that. And sometimes those assumptions are true. But sometimes those assumptions are just that, assumptions. You know what I'm saying? You're not helping the situation any better. What do you feel, smug or something? You're better than somebody because you ain't never been in that position. You better thank God. Anyway, but they were controlling to the last detail. Everything was controlled. And what you did, like, and I got into this like program there. I ain't gonna say the program, I ain't gonna say the shelter, because it's probably helping somebody, and honestly I don't want to deal with them. I doubt they'll see this video, but I still don't want to deal with them anymore. But like, got into that shelter and controlling every aspect of everything you do. And there was a program, sorry my scarf is getting in the way, there's a program, right, attached to that shelter that will, like, it's about a 10-month program, which is like outrageous to me. Like, who wants to take 10 months? Like, the program, its original intent was for people with, like, you know, drug and alcohol issues, which is okay. And so it's a 10-month program, but they allow people who don't have drug and alcohol issues. I don't have drug and alcohol issues. They allow you into the program, and you still have to do the 10-month requirements. And the first month requires you to just like sit there and like basically work for them. No pay, of course, but you work for them, and you and that's it. Work with like 6 to 8 hours a day, and then there's really nothing for you to do. I mean, of course, you can like read books and stuff like that and twiddle your thumbs, but for me, I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get out of this situation. I don't want to stay here. So I stayed there for like a month, struggling under this sort of like constraints that they put on people by being in the shelter. Again, it's gonna be some people, if anybody ever sees this video, who's gonna be like, well, you know, you have to abide by the rules. I ain't talking to you. I really am not talking to you, because unless you've been in that situation and you dealt with like people who are just trying to, because you, the thing about it is, just because you in need don't mean that people have a right to control you. And there's a lot of people who get into the, you know, healthcare business or homeless care business or whatever it is, just to like to get money and to exercise control over people. It's a lot of people who are just like controlling demons out here, where they want to control every aspect of what you do or what you say and everything else, because that gives them a sense of power, and it gives them the money. Yep. And that's what I felt there. I felt so restricted, and I was praying. You know, I did enjoy like they made us go to like church services and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad, like depending on who the speaker was. Some of them were weird, but like some of them were just like saying some stuff that you needed to hear about getting your mess together, you know? And I appreciated that. But I got tired of it. I was exhausted. I just like, you know, like I depressed, of course, in that situation. I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to, and I kept on praying to God, like, I need to get out of here. I need to move. One night, I went to bed, woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, it was just like this automatic wake up, you know, not the groggy type of wake up. What's going on? No, it was just like I woke up, like eyes wide open, sat straight up in bed, and it was just like, I think I sat straight up in bed, maybe not, I don't know, something like that. But and it was just like, and I knew it was like God, right? I knew it was the Lord. And I was just like, okay, what's going on? And so he told me to pray for a couple of people. This one woman in particular, and some other people, and just like the shelter I went to, it allowed, like parents and kids and stuff like that. So I prayed over the mostly women who were there with their kids. And and then, like, I heard from the Lord that, like, He put it in my spirit to move, to like go from Dallas. I almost said the name of the place. I hope nobody gets it from there, if anybody watches this video. But like, from that shelter to another shelter that's less restricted. And I was like, I don't know, God, I have no idea. But like, I took that, and I was just like, I was so wanting to leave that shelter. And I was like, okay. And throughout the day, I was more excited, but I was also struggling with it, because I was like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure. He also told me to tell this other lady to like go to the shelter as well. And I told her. She was probably weirded out by it, because unless you're just like used to people coming up to you and saying, the Lord told me to tell you, it is a weird experience. It's an uncomfortable experience, because it's some people who, El Pollo Loco. I'm just kidding. Just some people who are just like not well and everything, and they will like take they're the lords of their own mind, and so they're gonna tell you what their will is for your life and stuff. So you have to be careful of that. So I can understand that. And she avoided me a little bit and everything too, which is okay, because I get it. But I told her that, and she told me that she wasn't gonna come, that she was gonna stay where she was. She just didn't, feel like that was the right move for her. And I was like, okay, but I'm going. And then in the middle of the night, like I woke up and I was like, I don't know, Lord. Like, I'm scared and everything else. And He just like led me to this video, this sermon from this church that I go to from time to time, or used to go to from time to time when I could afford to. And it was just like confirmation that I should just like trust the Lord and then just follow His direction. So I woke up at 4 something in the morning, got dressed. The night before, I had packed all of my stuff. I left some of my stuff there because they, store it for up to 7 days, and then you have to go and pick it up, or they throw it away or whatever. Grabbed a little ID thingy that they gave us. Took all of my stuff, which were in bags, because they threw away my luggage. Which, it is what it is, Beggars can't be choosers, can they? And they threw away my luggage. And so I took my trash bag, and I headed on to this other shelter. Oh, shoot. What the hell's around? Sorry, it was a truck zooming. I don't know. Maybe it's a little man syndrome or something. These short guys in these trucks. But anyway, so like, I headed on over to the shelter, took a step out on faith, and I got there, and there was a place for me. And there was a place for like 2 women. So it would have been space for the second lady to go. Thank you. But she, decided not to come, so another lady, took that space. So I got up in there, and it was more freedom, and I could breathe a little bit easier and everything else. But now, almost 2 months later, I am miserable in this shelter. And it didn't take 2 months to get there. It only took like a couple weeks. I don't want to be one of them weirdos on the internet, because, I ain't talking about I'm a prophet and all this other stuff like that, and you prophet lying, okay? You profiteering. But I want to say this. There's a heavy demonic presence on that place. It's a heavy demonic presence on that place, for real, for sure, absolutely, positively, there is. And it is oppressive there. And it's like, the dorms in this new place is split between men and women. So I don't know what happens on the men's side, but I can guess that it's not too different from the mess that happens on the women's side. Um, it's a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, a lot of uncouthness. And by uncouthness, let me be clear, a lot of unnecessary dirtiness. There's access to hot water, there's access to soap, but that eludes some people. They don't want to use it. Some people don't shower on a regular basis. Some people, are older. It's a lot of older people in there, and they, are wearing Depends and stuff, and they will slang their Depends in the trash. Dirty, filthy behaviors in that place. And not just like in terms of hygiene, in terms of like the talk in that place, in terms of the behaviors, the drunkenness, the getting high, in terms of just like a lot of stuff that happens in that place is kind of ridiculous. And it's like, okay, so went from a place that was like very controlling and very, I tell you what to do, into a place where it's just like very, I'm sorry, I had to pause a little bit. I'm trying to see who's across the street. But very just like everything goes, anything goes. Had a lady who was, and we went from like single beds at the other place to like bunk beds and everything else to get more people in there. So it's about like 200 maybe ladies in that place, and of course that causes friction and stuff like that. Of course that does. Different personalities coming together, but also I think the main thing that causes friction is just like this, just like evilness in this place, and you can just like feel it. It's palpable. It's just like it's just debauchery and just like foolishness abounds. Like I said, this woman who's on the lower bunk across from mine, who was on the lower bunk across from mine, she was an older lady in her like 60s or something like that. She got kicked out of the place for smoking weed in the bathroom. And she, in the last couple of days before she got kicked out for the weed smoke, she had come in drunk. I can tell it, slurred speech, just like super happy, super just sort of giddy and kind of like all over the place and just like joking a lot. And it's just like man, like you're in your 60s, you paid your dues and stuff like that. Far be it from me to tell you to not like have a drink, libations and whatnot. But it's like, you're getting drunk. First and foremost, you have the need for a shelter. Let's talk about that. You have a need for a shelter, and at your age, which is sad because you should be either living with family or in some assisted living facility or something like that. You should not be in the shelter. And that's another thing, like the shelter, I know this is like 30 some minutes. The shelter is also like a place where, I don't know who did it specifically. I've been told it is Ronald Reagan, but I haven't looked up the information. But whoever the bastard is who did that, where they took away all these mental health institutions, shame on you. I want to say something harder, but I'm trying to be, like a better Christian or whatever. Shame on you for that foolishness, because we have a lot of people. That's another thing too. That's another thing that like messes with you. I'm in this dirty parking lot, y'all, so like forgive me, but it's shame on you, because a lot of people who are like talking to themselves, having whole conversations. There's this one woman who's having whole fights. Like I was behind her in the line to get lunch, and she just like, she looks over quickly, to her right, and she punches the air. And I'm just like, what the heck? And she's like, I'm sorry. She tried to clean it up and everything else, but she obviously thought somebody was there. And she's always like cursing and stuff like that, and screaming. And I'm just thinking to myself, I thought for the longest time, because I don't like, my bunk is not near hers. I thought for the longest time it was just like a situation where, she's arguing with somebody. And so, like, when she screams and she's cursing and having it just going off, I'm like, okay, who is she arguing with? And why is she always arguing with them? And why aren't they kicking her out of the shelter for constantly starting mess with somebody? And that was when I realized, when I saw her in the line and she just punched the air because she thought somebody was there, that she has mental health issues, and that's why they won't kick her out for the arguing and the cussing, because she ain't cussing at nobody. She is not cussing at anybody. Y'all. And that happens a lot here. Outbursts, anger, cursing, just like mental instability, just like easily triggered, easily, the feeling of being like, just like being slighted by like minor things. I was at this table with this lady, and so what happened was, she left her water bottle on the table. I came to the table, there were no other empty tables. I scooted the water bottle, didn't touch the lid of the water bottle or anything else like that. I just touched it by the body, and I pushed it to the center of the table. This lady came back to the table about 10, 15, 20 minutes later and said, "You touched my water bottle, and you don't touch anybody else's stuff," and blah, 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 blah. And, just like getting really angry, unreasonably. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be irritated because somebody touched your stuff or moved your stuff. But just like, all that fussing and stuff, unnecessary. So I was like, you know what? Sorry about that. At least I think I apologized. Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. I'm going to head on out. So I moved to another table that had become empty or something like that. And I just like sat there, and I was like, I'm not engaging with this foolishness. It's just too much. And that's what I've been doing. I've just like not been engaging and not being I'm not trying to make friends at this place, because friends tend to, I'm sorry y'all, this dirty parking lot, I'm just trying to avoid people. But like, I'm not trying to make friends at this place, because I don't want to trauma bond with other people. And honestly, people have issues that you have no idea. You have no idea what the issues these people have in this place or anywhere else, really. So it's a matter of like observing and taking your time. And I ain't trying to make no friends here. I'm trying to get out. So one last story. Woke up this morning. The lady in the lower bunk, I said before, she had got kicked out, so another lady took her place. And she wakes me up from my sleep, talking very loudly on the phone, just like doesn't know what the word whisper means, and everything. And that causes a whole sort of like debate on the other side of the room, where the ladies are telling her like, shut up, she can't hear them, so into her conversation and being loud. And they start an argument amongst each other, and then other arguments start around the room. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I've never seen it. Like, it has to be some type of spiritual thing, right? Because it's like arguments start in one place, and then all of a sudden other people are putting their opinions in, and then somebody's arguing with them, and then there's an argument there. And like, it's happened so many times, y'all. Happened so many freaking times where it's just like arguments spreading like wildfire. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And it is just like, I hate to say traumatizing or trauma, because people have bastardized the word by using, everything is not traumatic. But this is a traumatic experience for me. Especially somebody coming from a chaotic like childhood, which I'm sure that a lot of us up in that place have come from that. You know what I'm saying? These mental illnesses don't manifest just because. A lot of times they manifest because of the way that we've been treated or the environments that we grew up in. We are incredibly fragile as human beings, and I think that we just need to, like, that's why you don't bring children into this world all willy-nilly. That's why you don't bring children into this world without resources and stuff like that, because you never know. You don't know how sensitive your child is going to be. And even the strong child, the child who seems to have it together, because I feel like I be having it together and then I end up cracking. And then I end up just like emotionally, just like, yeah. And that's what's been happening this year. I just been like, I'm fine, trying to have, like be more positive, trying to believe that like God has something better for me than this experience and everything. But then I get like upset, and I get like peed off, and I'm just like angry at God for past experiences and the current experience that I'm going through, because I really tried, y'all. I had like this job with UPS, right? And they sent me, this was before I came to the shelter, when I was in the like great value Airbnb. And I had a job with UPS being a, like a package handler and everything. The paid, like, it was cute, cute for somebody who ain't, like who's broke as a joke, okay? And about to choke. But it's like they sent me an email telling me an address that I should go to for training. And then they sent me a text message telling me an address I should go to for training. I didn't know which one to go to, right? And so I sent a message back to the person who texted me and was like, okay, which is this the address I should go to? Because the email sent me a different address. And I prayed about it, y'all. I was like, God, which address should I go to? Like, I'm really trying to get to this place. I ain't barely had no money to like get on the bus or anything else like that, but I was just like stepping out on faith and whatnot. And I just like, he put in my spirit to go to the address that the email said, right? So I ended up going there. I get the directions. My phone is off at this point, so but I can still text. If people will text me at this point, if people text me, we can go text back and forth. They allow me that for a hot second. And so I end up like I end up going to the address in the email and using the directions on my phone. How about like I'm on the bus and everything else, all the stops that are on like my phone, because I get the directions at, I have Wi-Fi at this, great value Airbnb. I get the directions there and I just like keep them on my phone, don't change anything so I can have them as I'm traveling. And so like I end up, none of the stops that I see on my phone are on the bus line, on the bus route. None of the stops. And I'm just like, for real? For real, Lord? And so I'm just like riding on the bus and I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to get to this place? And then as I'm on the bus, this lady texts me and says, oh yeah, you need to, don't go to the address in the email, go to the address that I texted you. And I'm like, for real? So now it's too late. I don't have any money for it, like to transfer. Like I don't have the directions to get to this other place. Like I would definitely have been very late to the place and everything else. And it's just like at this point in time, yeah, I'm so exhausted, so mentally exhausted. I don't want to make the effort. And so I end up like stopping at a coffee shop, and I end up getting a muffin and a water, and just like heading on back to the like great value Airbnb. So I'm like, Lord, like seriously, you told me to come to this city, and you told me that you just told me to come to this city, so to be honest, he didn't say like, girl, I'm gonna hook you up in this city. Okay, you gonna have a mansion inside of a mansion inside of a mansion, and you gonna have all of this, which I don't expect. It's not something I really want or anything else. I don't want excess. I'm tired of like billionaires and trillionaires and all these idiots who get to control our society and everything else like that. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be comfortable. I want to afford like a good medical insurance, not United Healthcare, hello, but a good medical insurance. And I want to be able to like have a nice place to stay in a safe neighborhood. I want to have good food to eat that I can cook mostly at home because I don't be trusting people. People ain't right these days. Probably ain't never been right. Fast food every now and then, but like, and I want to be able to like have a car, and I want to be able to like just like have basic things. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to like travel. I have been in survival mode like all of my adult life, ever since I got out of my mother's house. And I know I'm not the only person who's experienced that, where you just trying to survive. I'm in my 30s now, and I've been just trying to survive, like, and just like make it through, you know. And I've just been like having this yo-yo sort of like feelings toward God, because I'm like, Lord, you could snap your fingers, you could, blink your eyes, you could just like clear your throat, you could just like think it, and you ain't even gotta do that. It could just like be, if you wanted it to be. But it's hard. Again, it's difficult again, and it's just like, I don't know. There's a silver lining. I did get a job, so praise God, for that. I did end up getting a job that starts next week, next Wednesday, and everything. So at least I'll be getting money in soon, and I can just like start planning to move out of the shelter and move on. But y'all, I don't know if it's welfare, spiritual welfare. I can't tell, because it's like, I feel like spiritual welfare, shouldn't it be like stuff that is clearly the devil? Just like if God is putting these obstacles in your way, if God is allowing this stuff to happen to you. I mean, okay, let me consider Job, because, like Job, God was like, consider my servant Job and stuff like that. He wouldn't do all of that. He loyal. He loyal and stuff. And then the devil's like, okay, we'll see. Birdman, like rubbing his hands together and everything else. And I'm just like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about that. I was at a certain point in time, I was very thankful, very grateful, because I wouldn't have gotten through 2024 without the Lord, and that's real. But I also was like, but I wouldn't have gone through 2024 without you either, because you directed me to the city, and you directed me to this situation. I'm just walking in circles, just trying to like, I don't know, it might look weird on camera, but I'm walking in circles just to like not let it's too many people around here. I'm trying to like, this video was like almost 50 minutes. It's probably gonna go into the hour. I don't know who's gonna watch this, but it's gonna be long. But it's like, it's just like it hit me, and it's just like, okay, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to be grateful, and then I'm just like, I just like think to myself, but like, did I have to go through this for real? I have to go through the stuff in my childhood for real? I have to be estranged from my family for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some people, you blessed to have like amazing families on this earth and everything else, and they would never have to go through something like this. They would never have to be in a shelter. And then it's just like me, and it's like other people like me, because being in a homeless shelter, I don't know about anybody else, but it just like makes you hyper aware of like homeless people, other homeless people. And I'm just like seeing them on the streets and struggling, and obviously with mental health issues and physical health issues and stuff. And it just feels like it's heart-wrenching, and it's just like exhausting to see. And so I'm just also kind of like a little bit upset behind that, because it's like, okay, and it's just like always something happens always something happening. I was listening, this is the last thing, because honestly this video is too long. I was listening to this lady on YouTube. Her name is like Betty Nicole. And she was talking about, lean not unto your own understanding and all this other stuff and trust in the Lord and stuff. And how, sometimes there's not going to be answers to your questions. And sometimes you just gotta that's a struggle of mine, because I'm an inquisitive person. Not about everything, but I'm an inquisitive person. And especially when something is sorry about that. Two people were just talking loudly, but it's like I want to know, I want to understand, and I don't know. I have to watch the video again, but she was saying basically that there's some things we're not going to get the answers to, and we just have to trust in the Bible and trust in God's word and trust in God, without those answers being forthcoming. And it's just like, okay. I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. I'm really struggling with my faith at this point. I'm just really struggling because, and I have been struggling this whole entire year. And honestly, the only reason I'm still a Christian is God, because I would have let go a long time ago, because I'm tired of being stressed out. Especially if I felt like I kind of felt like this whole entire year, and it's not popular to say, but I don't care. I don't know why I say it like that. But I don't care. What am I trying to say? If letting go of Christianity would mean that I ain't got to stress out like this anymore, like my mental health isn't affected anymore, I can breathe, then I would have done that. I've tried to do that. I really tried to. I tried to let it go. I have tried several times, but it has a hold on me. And I don't want people to take it the wrong way. Like, girl, you gotta break past them chains. You know what I'm saying? You need to what's the word these days? Deconstruct and stuff like that. I think deconstruction is important, especially if it gets you to an authentic and real relationship with the Lord. I think is really important. And I think some people need to walk away in order to come back in that authenticity. However, it wasn't even, maybe it is a sort of deconstruction. It was just I want to walk away, because if my life becomes better, if my mental health becomes better, I want to be away from this. Then I know this is not for me. It has nothing to do with the truth of the gospel. I believe Jesus is the way, the truth, and life. I believe, but I'm so sick and tired of the suffering that I'm going through, that I want to I'm okay, he the truth, way, the truth, and life, but Christianity ain't for me. Okay, he died for our sins. That's great. Thank you. Whatever. It's still not for me. And that's where I'm at. That's where I was at. I'm not there anymore, because I'm just okay, I can't let this go. The Holy Spirit won't let me let it go and everything. So I'm gonna have to just thug through this rough patch, and hopefully it won't be for years and years and years. It's been for a year, so and then the year before I had some struggles there too. But I had a place to stay, I had food, shelter, more clothes, I had my things, and things are just things. You can always get more things, but just it's something about losing your stuff that just gets to you. Not your identity is in your stuff, but it's just it's something about it that really does get to you. So the whole point of this video is that just I ain't got no answers. Like, I don't have it, like, I ain't about to sit up here and, preach to people and tell them to just, like, like, it's just, I'm not going to be, like, stereotypical of, like, Christians and preach to people. I ain't in the testimony stage at this point. I got a job. That's the biggest testimony that I have out of this thing, and I haven't gone crazy yet. But I'm in the midst of it. I am struggling with my faith. I am struggling because I really don't trust God like that, because my past. I know a lot of people's like, you gotta heal. I'm like, girl, how do I heal? How does that work? Can't even afford a therapist right now. Like, how does that happen? The Lord can just, like, I hate it how, like, like other Christians are just like, or so-called Christians, because some of them are so-called, but, like, try to make it seem like abracadabra, the Lord gonna touch you. Jesus is a fairy. He gonna, like, twirl around you 3 times and then just, like, tap you with his star-tipped wand, and then you're going to be healed. I don't think it works that way. I'm like, at least not in my situation, not in my case. And I've been writing a lot of songs. The Lord has been giving me a lot of songs to write about my experience, and a lot of them are quite sad. A lot of them end well, with a good message and stuff like that, but I have yet to experience that good message that they end on. So at times it feels inauthentic. So, but that's it. That's the end of the video. I've been walking in circles, trying to avoid people as I make this video. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do it again. It's cathartic and whatnot, but it's just like, that's where I'm at. I'm struggling, y'all. I'm struggling with my faith so hard, and I'm just like, I'm struggling with trusting God, because at this point I don't trust him like that, and I feel like I have a lot of reason not to. And on that note, I'm just going to say goodbye. Yeah, I hope this, I want to, I don't want to be depressing, I don't want to be down, Debbie Downer, or anything else like that, negative Nancy, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be down on my luck, back against the wind, but that's just kind of where I am right now. And it's gotten to the point where I don't even, want to go to church, because I feel like the last time I actually went to a church service, well, outside of, the shelter, it was all this, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, come into his gates with thanksgiving and all this other stuff, and I'm not there, yo. I am not right there. I'm at the, lamentation, God, what is this? How long am I going to suffer through this? Can you, give me an expedited blessing to get out of this situation? How about my mental health, my spiritual health? How can you give me some answers or something like that? Something more. Anyway, this is about to be an hour-long video. I hope somebody watches it. And I hope it, if not encourages you, it encourages you in the fact that you ain't alone and struggling. And that this holly jolly Christmas, happy joy Christian experience, some people are truly happy and got the joy of the Lord, but some of us are struggling, have accepted the Lord, have accepted Jesus, believe in the gospel. We still struggling with trust, struggling with faith, struggling with our mental health and everything else. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the video. Hope somebody gets something out of it. Goodbye.